So I'm just quietly sitting in this class waiting for this 30 minutes to go by, and I decide to go to the bathroom to take a little bit of a walk and kind of make time go faster. So I get up, I walk up to my teacher, I go, "Hey, can I go to the bathroom?" And she goes, "I don't know, can you?" And I look her in the eyes and I go, "Yep." And I grab the bathroom pass off the desk and walk out the door to the bathroom. Now, she was just messing with me. She wasn't one of those teachers that was mean about letting people go to the bathroom. She was just kind of messing around. So yeah, I walked down the hallway and I walk up to the staff bathroom. Now, students were not supposed to use the staff bathroom, but I would pretty much use it all the time because the student bathrooms were gross and people were always in there just being obnoxious. So I decided to use the staff bathroom, and it's a one-person bathroom, okay? So I walk up to the door, I open the door, and I'm greeted to a sight I did not expect to see, okay? It's Julia leaning up against the sink, just sipping a tiny bottle of vodka. And I'm just like, "Julia, what are you doing?" And she goes, "Hey, shut the door." I'm like, "Okay." So I shut the door, and I make sure to lock it so no teachers or staff members walk in. And I'm like, "What are you doing, Julia?" She goes, "I'm just having a little fun." I'm like, "Yo, it's the last period class of the day. Like, you couldn't wait till you get home?" And she's like, "No, I want to do it now. I was just too bored." I'm like, "Julia, like, I know that you don't care about school, and I really don't like it either. Trust me, I don't have good grades at all. But, like, you can't do this in school. They're going to expel you. Like, seriously, I don't want to see you get expelled." And I wasn't saying this to, like, sound like a teacher or, like, some authority figure. I really just didn't want to see her get expelled because she's my friend and I liked going to school with her. So after I say this, she's like, yeah, I know. It's a bad idea. I shouldn't be doing it. I'll stop." And I'm like, "Thank you. I'm not trying to be some annoying person. I just really want to see you, like, not get expelled." And she's like, "Yeah, I know. I'll try not to." I'm like, "Thank you." And then all of a sudden, we hear a knock on the door, and she immediately throws this bottle in her backpack and zips it up. Now, since this was just some teacher or staff member knocking on the door to use the bathroom, I just yell. I'm like, "Hey, I'm in here." And I hear her yell on the other side, "Okay, I'll wait." And this is when I start panicking, because I thought that I would just say, "I'm in here," and the teacher would walk away and go to another bathroom. But she said she would wait, which means she's going to see this door open in a one-person bathroom, and me and this girl are going to walk out, Julia, and she's going to think that we were in there doing something. And we weren't doing something. I mean, Julia was, but, like, I wasn't involved in anything whatsoever. And last thing I wanted to have happen was me get blamed for something I wasn't doing, or both of us get in trouble. So me and Julia just start whispering to each other, like, freaking out. I'm like, "All right, look, like, I'm just going to have to open the door. Let's hope it's some chill teacher who doesn't question
Nice
it.
job.
Like, let's just see." And I open the door, and of course, it's this teacher that I've seen around before who likes to yell and get angry a lot. So I knew for a fact when she saw me and Julia that she was going to send us right up to the office. And can you guess what happened? I opened the door and she goes, "Oh no, you two were just in there? Go up to the office right now." And I'm like, "Why?" And she goes, "Why? Because you're in the staff bathroom, which you're not allowed to use, and you're with a girl, Austin. Go up there." And I'm like, "Wait, what? How do you know my name? Like, I don't have a class with you." And she goes, "Oh, I've heard about you." I'm like, "What? What does that mean?" She goes, "Just go up to the office, both of you, right now. I'm going to follow behind you guys so I know that you're going up there. I'm going to tell them what I just saw." I'm like, "Fine." So me and Julia go upstairs to the main office, and this teacher follows us the whole way there. And we get into the main office, and this teacher that was following us the whole way there goes up to the lady and goes, "Hey, caught these two in the staff bathroom by themselves. Don't know what they were doing, but I want the principal to talk to them." And she goes, "Okay, I'll relay the message." So we're just sitting in this main office waiting for our principal to be ready to see us. And like 5 minutes later, the principal's office door opens, and my principal comes out and goes, "Hey guys, I'm ready to see you in here." And me and Julia get up, and we walk into the principal's office, and we sit down. And my principal goes, "All right, look, why were you two in the staff bathroom by yourselves? What were you doing?" And Julia just goes, "I was using the bathroom." And I go, yeah, so was I. I was just waiting for her to be done." Now look, I really did not want to lie in this situation, but at the same time, I can't tell the truth because if I did, I'd be just like getting Julia in a bunch of trouble, possibly expelled from school. Like, she had a lot of chances already. Like, I don't know if she'd have one more. And plus, if I say that Julia was drinking in there, the principal's going to think that I was drinking with her, and there's no way to really tell, so they'll probably just suspend both of us for being in there. So after I say this, my principal goes, "You expect me to believe that you guys were in there together waiting for each other to be done?" Why on earth would I believe that? Like, why on earth would you be in there, in the bathroom, waiting for each other, when it's a single-person bathroom? Meaning you can just knock on the door and wait outside the door for that person to leave, and then you can go in there and do your business. Like, seriously, tell me why you guys were in the bathroom waiting for each other. And I was like, I don't know. I really just couldn't think of any excuse. And Julia just goes, "Well, Austin's my friend. I want to talk to him a bit in between class." And right after she said that, the whole room just smelled like vodka. Like, her breath just reeked of alcohol. And my principal looks at me and then looks at her with this, like, really weird face and just goes, "Have you guys been drinking?" And I'm like, "No. Why do you say that?" And she goes, "I can smell alcohol on your breath, Julia. Have you been drinking?" And Julia just completely hesitates and goes, "No." And my principal just sighs and goes, all right, look, because you both used the staff bathroom together when you're not supposed to is already enough. I'm giving you guys 1 week of detention after school. And that sucked to hear,
She's
but
up
at the same
on it.
time, I was very relieved because Julia could have definitely gotten in way more trouble,
Right.
and I could have as well. But yeah, after that we left, we went back to our classes, finished out that day, and the day was an extra hour longer because we had detention that day now, and following the rest of the week we had detention, and that's what we did. And yeah, after this was all over with, Julia never drank at school again, she never did that at school. And yeah, she kind of just got on a better path, and she was doing a lot better, and that's great. But yeah, moral of the story is don't be like Julia and drink at school, and just don't be like either of us in this story time. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this story time. If you did, please leave a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. Yo, what's up, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So the other day I was browsing my comments section on YouTube, reading through my comments, because I do. People think I don't. People are like, Austin, why don't you ever read your comments? I read my comments. So if you comment something, and it's, in the top, 20 comments, I usually see it. But I'm reading my comments the other day.
Nice
I
job.
see a comment from this dude being like, yo, man, can you tell some more fight stories? Now listen, your boy Austin, I'm not really one of those people that believes in violence, alright? I'm not that kind of dude that's going to be the first one to be like, yo, let's throw some hands. I'm not that type of dude. However, if someone walks up to me and just smacks me in the face for no good reason and starts beating on me, I'm going to defend myself. That's kind of how I view fighting, only in self-defense kind of situations, which I feel like a lot of people understand. But anyway, I got thinking after I read that comment, and I remember this one story time that I haven't told yet that I thought you guys might enjoy. It's about a high school fight I got into that got me suspended, and I thought you guys would enjoy hearing it. Now, before I jump into this story time is for entertainment purposes only. Don't go out after watching a story time of mine and go repeating things I talk about, because that's not good. Don't do that. But anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoy this story time, and let's jump right into it. So today's story time all takes place in the final year of my high school career. I was in high school, just getting by, just barely getting by. I was kind of passing my classes. A couple of them I wasn't doing so well in. But I was trying to keep my head down, stay out of trouble, get my stuff done, trying to graduate, trying to do my thing. And there was this one dude who I had a bunch of classes with. Let's call this guy Brian, okay? Brian was a grade A dickhead. I don't say that about a lot of people, but Brian was a grade A dickhead. You're probably wondering, Austin, why was Brian a grade A dickhead? Why are you calling him that? Well, Brian was the type of dude where if he had nothing going on and he was bored, he would just fuck with somebody. Just randomly start bullying somebody, just being a dickhead. And I didn't like him for that. I saw him mess with my friends. He messed with me a couple times when I let it slide. I saw him mess with the quiet people in our class, people that weren't doing anything wrong, just sitting there doing their work. He would throw things at them and shit. He just wasn't a good dude. Brian was definitely not a good guy. Oh, and I also failed to mention, Brian was held back in a bunch of his classes. I was in 11th grade at the time. He was in 12th. And he was in a bunch of my classes because he was held back. And I think he was held back in other classes too, even further. All I know is that Brian was 18 and I was 17. It's important for later on in the story time. So this story time all starts off as a normal school day. I get to school, I get off the bus, I walk into school, go to my locker. I had some time before my first period class, so I put my backpack in my locker, grabbed some money, and then I closed my locker and went up to the cafeteria and grabbed breakfast and brought it back down to my locker and ate it there because that's where I like to eat. Because the cafeteria was filled with people. I just wanted some alone time because I was really tired and just out of it. So I'm just standing at my locker with it open, leaning up against it. I'm eating my breakfast, eating this bagel, thinking about the fact that I have a 6-hour day ahead of me at school and how I don't want to do it. But yeah, I'm just standing there, minding my own business, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of my eye, I see Brian coming up to me. And I'm thinking okay, what's he want? What's he about to ask me? And he just walks up to me, slaps the bagel out of my hand, makes it fall on the floor, laughs in my face, and walks away. Now, I was so pissed off, so angry. All I wanted to do was run up behind him and smack him. But at the same time, I was like, okay, you know what? If I do that, I'll probably get suspended for a week. And I'm way too tired. I'm way too exhausted. I definitely have no fighting chance against him right now. Plus, he was a senior and older than me and stronger than me. So I really did not feel like fighting Brian right this second. Just did not feel like it. So I let him do that and get away with it, even though I really didn't want to. And I turn back around, I pick up my food, I throw it out in the garbage, and I go to my first period class, trying not to think about what just happened. So, for most of the school day, things were pretty normal. I saw Brian a couple more times throughout the day. He didn't do anything. But then, towards the end of the day, it was my second to last period class, a class that I had with Brian, and Brian sat pretty close to me in this class. He wasn't right next to me, but he was at the same table as me. It was like tables of 3, and he was at the end of the table, and I was at the other end, and there was someone between us, but it was still close enough to annoy me. I walk into class, I sit down, Brian walks in super late, he sits down at the table, and he's not listening at all to what the teacher's saying. And don't get me wrong, I did that quite a few times too. I would zone out and not listen. But he was just on his phone texting, and I was trying to pay attention because I was trying to pass this class. And after the teacher talks for a little bit, she starts handing out a quiz for everybody to do. And the minute she hands it to me, I just get right to it, and I finish it as fast as I can because I just didn't want to sit there and take too long on it. And after I finish, I'm just sitting there, not really doing much. And all of a sudden, I hear someone go, Austin, yo. And I turn and I look, and it's Brian, and he's whispering at me from across the table. And I just look at him, and he goes, what are the answers? And I was like, oh yeah, you want my answers? You should have thought about that before you smacked my breakfast out of my hand this morning. So yeah, fuck you, Brian. And he just gets all mad. He's like, really? You're still mad about that? Get the fuck over it. I'm like, dude, fuck you. And the teacher goes, guys, please stop talking. And we both go back to just kind of sitting there doing nothing. And Brian was very angry. He was giving me a death stare the entire rest of class. Like literally, for the whole rest of class, he was just staring at me with a super evil look. Like he really wanted to hurt me. So fast forward to the end of class, I'm walking out, I walk out in the hallway, and
This video is sponsored by FaceCheck, the only app you need for League of Legends. It's no secret, I've been using this app for a while now. It's simple, convenient.
as I'm walking to my locker, all of a sudden I feel someone push me as hard as they can, and I almost fall over. And I turn around, and it's none other than Brian himself, standing there. And the minute he pushes me, everybody sees, everyone starts gathering around, because they think there's about to be a fight. And Brian goes, fuck you, dude. You fucked my whole class up. Now, pushing somebody in an argument is already a form of assault, but I didn't want to do anything about it just right then and there, because it wasn't enough to piss me off that much. I was just like, alright, whatever. So I turn around and I start walking away, right? I'm like, I'm not going to entertain this dumbass. I'm not going to say anything back to him. Because I'm not trying to get into a fight right now. I'm just trying to finish out my year without getting expelled. So I'm walking away, thinking that's the end of it. I start walking through the crowd, trying to get out of there. And all of a sudden, he grabs me by the back of my shirt and pulls me back by my neck, basically. And that was when I had enough of that shit. Like, slapping the shirt out of my hand, pushing me, and then finally grabbing me by the shirt and basically pulling me by my neck and choking me. That's when I was like, fuck this. So I make a fist and I turn around full speed and just land it right on his face. Like full speed hit him in the face. But it doesn't end there. He falls to the ground completely knocked out. Like completely out cold. And at this point, I'm immediately regretting what I did. Like listen, as much as I don't like Brian and I think he's a dickhead, hitting him in the face and knocking him out is something I never wanted to do to him. Like that's just not what I thought would happen. So I stand there for a second and I make sure he's okay. Like he comes to, he wakes up, he's looking at me all confused. But he was responding to people, he was talking, he got up on his feet, he seemed fine. He wasn't fighting me anymore because I think he realized that he lost. And I turn around and I quickly walk away because I was not trying to get caught and suspended or expelled or something. So I walked away as fast as I could, just hoping that no teacher saw that and that I don't have to go to the principal's office. And I'm like freaking out, right? So I decided to just bail on school altogether. I just walk out one of the side doors and walk across the street to this restaurant and order a drink because I was just so freaked out. So I'm sitting at this table by myself, skipping my last class of the day, skipping school early basically, and drinking a fucking Pepsi, just tweaked out. And all of a sudden I look up and I see the school police officer walk into the restaurant because it's right across the street. He walks up to my table, and he sits down, and he goes, hey Austin, principal's looking for you. I was like, oh yeah? He's like, yeah, heard you got into a fight. I was like, yep. He goes, alright, come with me. He walks me out of the restaurant, puts me in the back of his car, drives me back to school, drives me up to the front, go inside, I go to the principal's office, I sit down, none other than Brian himself is in the office, just sitting there looking angry, principal's sitting there looking angry, I sit down, and the principal goes, Austin, what'd you do? I was like, yeah, I got into a fight, and the principal goes, yeah, obviously you did. First of all, Brian, you're a senior, why are you pushing Austin and trying to fight him? You're 18, he's 17, that's assaulting a minor. And I'm thinking about it for a second, and I'm like, oh shit, he is 18. And for some strange reason, I felt super relieved. I was like, okay, he's 18, like, that means he's way more in trouble than I am, because he's an adult.
That's
like,
right.
He's assaulting a minor, so, like, that's not good. And the principal basically ends up saying that I'm still suspended for 2 days, because I punched him, and that's not okay either. And the principal also suspended Brian for 2 days. So yeah, in the end, we both got the same punishment anyway. I thought that he would get more in trouble, but that wasn't the case, because, well, I knocked Brian out, and that's not very good. So yeah, moral of the story is, don't be like Brian, and also don't go around fighting people for no reason. That's not good either. But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed this story time and found it to be crazy. I thought it was a crazy one. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like on the video. I would really appreciate it. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below, and subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace. Pace on back, I don't wanna look back, I don't want it like that. I've been going too fast, all the girls like that, and the fake ones wanna see my pulse go flat, and my day ones know I'm a pace on back. Hey, what's up guys? So today's story is one I've been waiting to tell for a while now. So please hit that like button. I'm really excited to tell this story. And I'm going to jump right into it because honestly it's just crazy. So this story takes place 1 year ago. And I was just hanging out in my room watching some YouTube videos at the time. It was pretty late at night because I'm always up super late nights. And I get a text from one of my friends who lives down the street. And he goes, hey man, do you want to hang out? And I'm always awake super late nights and I have nothing to do. So I was like, sure man, I'll hang out with you. And he's like, alright, awesome, come over right now. And I was like, okay, cool man, on my way. And he lives right down the street. Like, I can walk there in probably like 15 minutes. It's not a big deal, right? So I got up, got ready quickly, grabbed my backpack, walked into my mom's room, told her I'd be back later with friends. And then I walked out of the house and I locked the door. And I started walking. And I'd usually get these walks over with pretty fast because I didn't like walking at night and I'd always walk super quick. But every time I had to walk to my friend's house, I had to go under this one bridge. And this bridge is like the bridge that everyone goes to in my town to do graffiti and tagging and just put little pieces of art on it. And some of it's pretty cool, but the cops do not like it at all, and a lot of people get busted there for doing it. And I've actually been caught there before too with some friends who were doing graffiti, and I have stories about it, so go check those out if you want. But anyway, I quickly walked under the bridge, and as I walked by, I looked up and I saw these 3 guys doing graffiti on the bridge. And I didn't think anything of it. It was really late at night. That's usually when people go there to do it because they don't get caught as easy. But I just quickly walk away from them. I get out from the other side under the bridge, and I just keep walking. And all of a sudden, as I walk away from the bridge, I hear footsteps coming up behind me super fast. And I turn around, and I see the same 3 guys that were doing spray paint on the bridge run right by me. Just full speed, run right by me. And behind them is a security car, like a car with orange lights on the top, going after them. And they run into this bike path where cars can't go. And I'm the only one not running, so of course the guy pulls over right next to me, rolls his window down. He's like, hey, what are you guys doing? And I was like, sir, I'm literally not doing anything. I'm just walking to my friend's house. They just ran right by me. I have no idea who those guys are. I have nothing to do with them. He's like, really? I'm security for this area and neighborhood, and I just got a call that there was people vandalizing the bridge. You and your little friends are the only ones out here. And I was like, sir, they aren't my friends. I wasn't vandalizing the bridge. And like, you can check my backpack. I don't have spray paint or anything. And it kind of blew my mind that they had like security. Like, the bridge was right next to a suburb, and I guess this guy would just monitor the whole area and make sure everything was good, including the bridge, because there was just so many people going there and spray painting. But anyway, he gets out of his car, tells me to take my backpack off, and I know I could have been like, nah, you can't search it, but I just told him he could because I really didn't care. Like, there was nothing to hide. I didn't have spray paint on me. And he opens my backpack, looks through it for a second, and then tells me to turn around and put my hands behind my back. And I was like, no, because I'm not going to let some random security guard arrest me. Like, a cop, sure, but a security guard, like, that could be some fat dude that works at Subway part-time who wants to kidnap me and become Jared number 2. I'm good on that. And he's like, turn around. And he reaches for his belt with the pepper spray. And I was like, oh, no. I'm not going to lose my ability to breathe right now. So I just turn around and let him handcuff me. And, like, I know this is so wrong. I could have done something about it. But I did not feel like trying to run away and getting pepper sprayed or, like, losing my backpack in the process. So he sits me down on the curb, and then he pulls out of my backpack my old Sharpie marker and holds it in my face and goes, so you weren't vandalizing, huh? And I just kind of laughed at him because it was such a crazy accusation to make at me. And he's like, nothing's funny about this. And I was like, that's an old Sharpie marker from high school. Like, I don't even think it works anymore. And he, like, takes the cap off, and he smells it. This man sniffed my Sharpie. It made me so uncomfortable. And he just puts the cap back on. He's like, stand up. And he stands me up and he goes to put me in his car. And I back up, I'm like, no. Like, you need to call, like, an actual cop over here if you want to do this. And I just sit back down on the curb. And he starts trying to pull me back up. And he's like, we work for the police. And I was like, no, you're the golf cart squad. Get away from me. Like, I'm not going to listen to you. Call the actual authorities because I did nothing wrong. And he keeps trying to stand me up. And I was like, dude, get away from me. And I kicked at him because he's, like, literally trying to put his hands on me. And it's just not cool. And at that point, I didn't care if I got pepper sprayed. Like, this guy is weird. He's creeping me out. I felt unsafe. And when I tried to kick my feet at him, he got super mad, and I thought he was going to pepper spray or something, but he didn't. He just took a step back and started screaming at me. He's like, I'm going to call the police. You're vandalizing. You just tried to assault me. And I just yelled back at him. I was like, call my mom if you want someone to come down here and deal with me. He's like, okay, what's your number then? And I give him her number. And I know people are going to comment and be like, really, Luna? You called your mom in? You called your mommy in? My mom is a straight badass. Do not judge me, okay? So this dude calls my mom's phone in the middle of the night and wakes her up. And he goes, yes, hi, ma'am. I work security for so-and-so in this area, and we have your son in handcuffs sitting on the curb. We suspect that he vandalized. And he was saying we and stuff, like it was a police team or something, when in reality it was just one fat Paul Blart in a shitty car with an orange siren on top. And he tells my mom where we are and to come get me and handle this. So she's like, alright, I'll be right there. And I'm just sitting there waiting for my mom to come save me, just hoping she didn't believe this guy over the phone. And I see her car come up because it's right down the street. It only took her a couple minutes to get there. She drives up, pulls over to the side of the road, gets out of her car, and she walks up and just immediately is like, so what's going on? And he goes on to say that he thinks that I was vandalizing the bridge, and that's why he stopped me and put me in handcuffs. My mom's like, did you see my son doing anything to that bridge? And he's like, well, no, not directly, but I saw him walking next to the people that were running away. And my mom just loses it. She's like, so you're telling me you had a vehicle, and people were running away from you, and you stopped the kid that's walking, doing nothing wrong, and harass him? And he's like, well, ma'am, the three gentlemen ran into a bike path where I couldn't get my vehicle into and follow them. And my mom just says, she's like, well, get out of the car and chase them and call authorities, the people that could actually fucking do something. Don't get out of your car and harass my son with no power whatsoever. He's like, ma'am, I'm security for this area. I work for the police. And she's like, oh, you do? What's your badge number? And he's like, well, I'm not a officer. I don't have a badge number. And she's like, yeah, you're a fucking fraud. Take my son out of those handcuffs right now before I call the actual police and get your ass in handcuffs. And he looks at my mom, looks at me, and he just goes, okay. And he walks over, takes the handcuffs off, and completely like pussies out of the whole power act he had going on and bows down to my mom. He's like, I'm sorry this happened. Like, I shouldn't have falsely accused your son like that. He really did have nothing incriminating on him, and he was probably telling the truth. I'm sorry. And she's like, you're damn right. And she takes his phone number down, gets his license plate number. She also got like the name of the security corporation / neighborhood watch thing he worked for, and just basically got a bunch of his info to know more about him. And she just goes, next time chase after the actual people doing something wrong, not my son who was just trying to go to a friend's house. He takes this route all the time to go to a friend's house. Don't bother him again. And he's like, nope, I won't. He seems like a good kid. And he's just like, I'm sorry. And he like shook my hand, and he just gets into his car and he drives away with his little orange siren turned off because he is no longer powerful. And I'm just like lost for words. Like, my mom just came through and made this guy shit his pants. Like, straight up, he got like a live sex change while talking to my mom. Like, he straight just pussied out. And yeah, he drove away. I got my mom's car. I told her thank you for saving me. And she's like, yeah, no problem. That's ridiculous. He even did what he did to you. Like, you're not a criminal. And I was like, I'm being honest. Like, I really didn't have anything to do with those people. She's like, I know. And I was like, thank you. And yeah, my mom just basically came in clutch. She then drove me to my friend's house. I got out. My friend was there waiting for me. I told him the whole story and he lost it. He was laughing so hard. He's like, that security guard by the bridge got you? And I was like, yeah, you know about him? And he's like, yeah, he's like the neighborhood watch guy. They hired him 2 months ago to watch the neighborhood right next to the bridge. And he's always at the bridge because there's people there smoking and doing graffiti and stuff. And I was like, yeah, he tried to screw with me. At one point, I thought he was literally going to pepper spray me. And he's like, what? I dare some fat Paul Blart-looking motherfucker to try and pepper spray you or me while we're together. I will literally spray it up his ass and make his shit burn for the next 2 weeks. And I was like, okay, dude, chill out. There's no need to get that graphic with it. He's like, nah, for real, though. That's ridiculous. And my mom was just laughing at his joke. And we just kind of hung out for a little bit. My mom ended up going back home to go back to sleep because she was tired. And I said sorry to her. Still so grateful that my mom has saved me from so many situations. Like, she's just such an awesome person. Shout out to you, Mom. But, like, for real, just straight badass my mom is sometimes. Call me a nerd, call me a mama's boy, but for real, like, she is the coolest. But that's pretty much the end of the story. I just hung out at my friend's house and watched some YouTube videos. After that, though, after like a week or two, I went back to my friend's house and I took that same route pretty late at night, and I saw him again, and he just waved at me. Every time I go to my friend's house after this, he would just wave at me. And now I'm pretty sure he's just gone completely. I think he works security in some other area, because every time I drive by that bridge with my friends, I never see any security or anything like that. But yeah, guys, that's the end of the story. Moral of the story is, don't walk around at night alone. Not a good idea. Don't be afraid to be a mama's boy once in a while in any situation. And just be careful, guys. Look out for yourselves. Don't do anything stupid like me. But yeah, guys, by the time this video goes up, I'll be live on Twitch, twitch.tv/Luna. Link is in the description if you guys want to come hang out. I'll be live for a while. And yeah, streams are super fun. They're super lit. Come check those out. Also, guys, I know this is going to sound super weird to hear coming from me. I'm going to start daily vlogging on my second channel, or at least try to daily vlog. I know for a fact they'll be at least weekly. So go check out my second channel, top link in the description. Subscribe to that if you want to see more vlogs from me, because I'm going to be vlogging a lot, and I already have some pretty lit stuff recorded that I'll be posting there soon. And yeah, guys, that's basically it. Subscribe if you're new, like the video if you enjoyed it, would really appreciate it. Leave your stories in the comments down below. See you guys all tomorrow. Peace.
Yeah. Controversy, I should worry, but I don't. That's not my girl, I'm not her man, that's just my.
Nice one.
I'm so defensive, I got bongos thumping in my chest, and something tells me they don't be for me. You better not take the ring from me.
Yo, what's good, guys? It's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time is a very unlucky one.
Let's
Definitely
go,
one of
let's
my
go.
unluckiest moments ever. Now, recently, the past few days, I've been telling very recent story times. You know, story times that take place like the day before or the day of me telling it. And this one's a little bit different. Today's story time takes place in middle school. Yeah, the very last year of middle school, right before I went in high school. And this is the story time of how I almost got expelled from my middle school and arrested. Yeah. Hope you enjoyed this story time. Leave a like on the video if you do enjoy it. And let's jump right into today's story time. So today's story time all starts off as a normal day. Like I said, last year in middle school. At this point, I wasn't really doing a whole lot. Now, the thing about middle school, at least mine at the time, is I could kind of do whatever I wanted and they just passed me along because my grades didn't really matter until high school at this point. So I was pretty much just going in every day and not trying my hardest, which, you know, isn't really the right mindset to have in school. But even though my grades didn't really matter at this point, my teachers were still all like, on my case about it, being like, hey, you got to get better grades. If you don't, you're not going to move on to high school. And they were lying to me when they said that because I had talked to a staff member who said that couldn't happen. But they wanted me to get good grades, right? So I was kind of on thin ice with all my teachers and my staff at that school. So yeah, starts off as a normal day. I wake up, I get ready for school, I go to school, and like I said, I was kind of a lazy student, so I got to school, I was way too tired, so I went to my first period class, put my head down, and literally proceeded to sleep all the way through first period. I woke up at the very end of first period to my teacher tapping on my shoulder and going, Austin, you just slept through my entire class. Go to the main office right now. And the main office just meant you're going to the principal's office. So I get my head up off the desk, I stand up, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, damn it, man, this is not a good start to this day. Like, my teachers already are angry at me. Me going to the principal's office right now is not the move. So yeah, had to get up, go up to the principal's office, explain to my principal why I was up there and how I slept through class. My principal was not very happy with me, told me that I was on very thin ice and needed to be better, and I agreed to be better. And from there I was dismissed and I went to my second period class, okay? So my second period class wasn't anything special. I didn't sleep through that one. I just kind of sat in there and did my work. And then it was time to go to my locker after that class was over. So the bell rings and I go straight to my locker because I only had a few minutes to get there and grab what I needed for my next class. And the thing about my locker is it was right next to this one dude who was not trustworthy whatsoever. Let's just call this dude Ethan, okay? Now Ethan was constantly getting into trouble. And I know people are going to comment and be like, Austin, isn't that a little bit hypocritical? Like, you've been in some trouble yourself. No, this dude took it to new levels, okay? Ethan had a damn death wish, I swear. Like, this kid would take getting into trouble to new heights every single time. Like, for example, one time he got mad because he failed an exam, and he went to the lunchroom right after he failed, grabbed the entire slushie machine out of the cafeteria, and smashed it in the hallway. And slushie went all over the damn hallway. I don't know what that slushie machine did to him to deserve such disrespect, but yeah, he disrespected the absolute fuck out of that slushie machine. It was really, really just not good looking. It looked like a crime scene for the slushie machine, alright? So anyway, yeah, Ethan, a very angry, trouble-causing individual, right? So I go to my locker, and I'm getting a folder out of my locker, getting ready for my next class, and Ethan's right next to me getting something out of his locker, and he goes, yo, Austin. And I was like, what's up, man? He goes, can you do me a favor today? I was like, Ethan, what do you need, man? Because every time he would ask me to do a favor for him, it involved holding something illegal that I'm not supposed to have at school. So I'd always say no to him because I'm not trying to get in trouble. And sure enough, I was correct. He goes, yo, I left my pocket knife in my backpack today. Like, I can't have this shit on me. I'll get expelled if they find it. Can you take it for the day? I'm like, bro, you just admitted that it would get you expelled if you were caught with it. So why would I want it on me? Like, I'll get expelled if I'm holding that thing. He's like, dude, trust me, you won't. You're goody two-shoes. You'll be fine. So I just tell him, I'm like, Ethan, are you forgetting that we're in middle school still? Like, we're 1 year away from high school. And if I get caught holding your stupid knife because you're dumb and you brought it to school, I won't be able to go to high school at this school. So I would rather just not hold on to that, man. Sorry, like, you should probably get rid of it. Like, go throw it in the garbage outside or something. He's like, bro, I'm not throwing this knife out. My dad gave it to me for a birthday gift. I'm like, dude, I think your dad would understand that you needed to throw it away so you didn't get expelled from school. Like, I'm sure he'd be cool with that. He's like, I don't care, man. I don't want to throw it away. I like my knife. I'm like, all right, man, then take the chance. I don't know what to tell you. He goes, all right, fine, I will. Fuck you. And he slams his locker door shut and he walks away from me to his next class. So I turn around, I shut my locker, and I go to my next class. Now, I didn't think about this, but the thing about my school, both my high school and my middle school, is the lockers were fucked up. Like, beyond fucked up. They were all broken. All you had to do to open someone's locker without the combination is you would walk up to it, pull on it, and knee it. Yep, just pull on it as hard as you can, and then simultaneously hit it with your knee or kick it with your foot, and it'll open right up. That's how...
You could go to Grainger.com to find what you need to get the job done. Grainger, supplies and solutions for every industry.
Giving yourself a tattoo?
Just doodle.
how rigged our lockers were. So yeah, I didn't know it, but right after I walked away from my locker and turned the corner, Mr. Ethan, the slimy little fuck, turned around and ran back to our lockers. He got mine opened up, threw his knife inside of it, slammed the locker shut, and ran away. Now you're probably thinking, Austin, how do you know all this? Like, how do you know he did all that for sure? Well, I'm going to tell you, okay? Because Ethan proceeded to do the most fucked up thing you could do to anybody after this. So Ethan was angry that I wouldn't hold on to his knife for him and take the fall for him, basically. So he decided to do the most petty thing ever, the most messed up thing ever. He decided to frame me. He put his knife in my locker, then he ran up to the main office after leaving my locker, and he told my principal that he saw that I had a knife and was hiding it in my locker, and he was concerned for his safety. That's what this psychopath told my principal, okay? And they believed it, and they conducted a random search on my locker, and they saw it sitting there on the top shelf because Ethan planted it there like a scumbag. And yeah, I get called up to the office like 5 minutes later. I walk into the main office, and I see 2 school cops in there. I see my principal, I see Ethan, and they're all giving me this look of shame. And I'm just so confused. I'm like, what's going on? And my principal and my school cop proceed to tell me that they conducted a search on my locker because they got a report from Ethan about me having a knife in school and how I was showing it off. Now, of course, upon hearing this, I immediately am just dumbfounded because I had no knife on me. The only person that had a knife was Ethan. So I look over at Ethan because I'm just so confused, and he's giving me this smirk. This real, like, petty smirk of just like a, haha, I got you, motherfucker, type of smirk. So that's when I'm like, alright, this dude wants to snitch on me for something I didn't even do and frame me because he's petty. I could play that game too. So I look at my principal and I'm like, listen, I can clear all this up right now. I didn't bring a knife to school. Like, why would I do that? There's only one person here that owns a knife and had it in school today, and that's Mr. Ethan, because he asked me to hold it for him because he was worried about getting expelled, and he planted it in my locker after I said no. And clearly this is what this is all about. So please, go check the cameras, because I know there's one in that hallway, and you can clearly see him planting it in my locker. I'm sure he did, or someone else did for him. And my principal goes, is this true, Ethan? And Ethan goes, no, check the cameras. So that's exactly what they did. They checked the cameras right in front of us, and you can see Ethan's dumbass run back around the corner after I walk away from my locker and plant his knife in there, and then run up to the main office and frame me for it. Little scumbag. Like, how awful can you be, Ethan? I hope you're watching this video. So yeah, they ended up kicking Ethan out of our school. He couldn't go to our school any longer. He was expelled. He also got taken home in a cop car that day. And I was just in disbelief. Like, all he had to do was just say nothing, and he probably would have been fine. But he decided to plant that in my locker and then try to frame me. Like, how evil can you get? So yeah, moral of the story is, don't be like Ethan. Don't bring stupid shit like that to school. Don't ever do that type of stuff. Not a good idea. But yeah, guys, I thought the story time was a crazy one. In the end, I was all good. I got let off the hook. They apologized to me. I was good. But moral of the story is, yeah, don't be like Ethan. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed the story time. Leave a like on the video if you guys did enjoy. Feel free to leave your story times in the comments down below. And subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Peace.
Time for a little self-care? Tap into this collection of supportive stories and very helpful information.
Conversation about mental health is becoming more normal, and it's been a lot more normalized because of this pandemic.
Mental health for me is about filling up my cup.
Emotions that maybe we're not familiar with.
When I can point that out, I actually feel really good because I go, there it is. There's the cause. There's the reason.
There's help. You don't have to do it alone.
Know that things can get better.
Whenever you need it. Visit youtube.com/mentalhealthawareness.
Yo, what's up guys, it's Austin here, or Luna. So today's story time, in my opinion, is a pretty funny one. Also a very recent one. I've been having the most recent story time streak ever on this channel. Usually I'm like, oh, today's story time takes place in 2016, 2017, 2018. Well no, today's story time takes place yesterday. It's actually the sole reason I didn't post. I was supposed to post a video yesterday, but your boy was preoccupied with a story time happening. So yeah, hope you enjoy this story time. Leave a like on the video if you do enjoy, and let's jump right into today's story time. So today's story time, like I said, takes place yesterday.
She's
I was
on
in my room, like any other story time starts off, just in my room on my computer playing some video games, and one of my friends hits me up. He's like, yo dude, trying to skate today? And of course, I'm like, yeah. Can we go to a different park though? Because the last time I went to that one skate park, a big story time happened. He's like, yeah man, for sure. Also, if you haven't seen that story, go check it out. It's the most recent TikTok girl story time. But anyway, yeah. I'm like, yeah bro, let's skate. He comes over to my house and we decided to street skate on this day, okay? So instead of going to a park, we decided to skate the streets and just see if we can find any good spots. And I don't really bust tricks or anything. I just kind of ride around and he does the tricks because I'm a pussy and I want to break my ankle. And yeah. So anyway, we're skating around. We're just going around the city, not doing a whole lot. And we find this one spot almost immediately right by my house. And it's right next to a playground and a basketball court. And we're just skating at this ledge. And all of a sudden, this guy comes up to us from the basketball court. He's wearing basketball shorts. He's wearing a tank top. He's got a basketball in his hand. He's sweating like a motherfucker. Like, this dude had just been playing basketball, no doubt. This man was a real basketball athlete, if I do say so myself. And he walks up to us, and he goes, you guys can't be skating here. And I was like, says who? There's no signs. He goes, I'm the sign. Get out. Now. And I was like, what? You're the sign. Do you work here? He goes, no, I don't need to. Get the fuck out of here. And at this point, I'm like laughing, because I think he's kidding, right? I start laughing. And he goes, I'm serious. Get out of here. I was like, do you work here? Like, seriously? He goes, no, I play ball here, and you're fucking up our game. You're distracting us with your skate noises. Leave. I'm like, listen, man, there's no sign that says you can't skate here. There's no security, no police, no one's telling us to leave. I think it's fine. And also, we're not damaging any property. Like, we're not grinding on anything. We're not, like, fucking up anything with our boards. Like, the only thing we were doing was I was skating off the concrete ledge and just kind of, like, dropping down, and my friend was doing tricks off it. So I tell him this, I'm trying to be civil, trying to have a nice civil conversation with this guy. And he goes, no, I don't want to hear it. Like, you guys are skaters. I know what y'all do. I know your type. Just please leave. I'm asking nicely. Leave. I'm like, well, man, I don't want to argue with you, but you're not asking very nicely. You're kind of being rude. And also, like I